Morning. I'm in the Cairngorms. Decided to try and chase the weather, and because it wasn't looking too good where I was in Carnlarich for today, and the weather report said it was supposed to be sunny and clear, and as you can see, speaking nonsense, but I'm going to try and go do An Socach in just south of Bramar. It's an easy enough route, 10 miles there and back in total, so hopefully the weather clears or there's some spectacular inversion waiting for me, but I'm not holding my breath, but want to bag another one anyway, so I'll check in again with you when I'm a bit further on. But easy enough parking, there's a few spaces just off the start of this trail, and then there's loads as you go up Glen, and loads of Munros to do in this area as well. But I'll catch up with you in a bit. So I'm a bit further on. There's a really nice Land Rover track, 4x4 track to follow. As you can see, the weather's not improved at all yet, but it's a nice easy track to follow, and I think all you do is you follow this and then you veer off up the shoulder. It's fairly straightforward to the Munro and then just back again. So I'm travelling back down the road after this. I've been up yesterday hiking Benmore and Stubinian, and so I just wanted another Munro I could do quickly, especially with the weather not being brilliant, and it's supposed to be better here. So yeah, just crack on until I get to that point where I need to fork and go up the shoulder up to An Socach, and then I'll check in here probably then. So far it's a nice walk, nice down the Glen. At least I've got some views. I can see some things down here. That's the way I've come, but I imagine once I get up it'll be pea soup. Anyway, so the sun is definitely trying to get out, trying to burn through this fog. I'll keep my fingers crossed that something happens. I think I'm nearly at the point where I head up. There I can see a faint path running up, so hopefully that'll be me heading up. Like I said, it's fairly straightforward, and that's why I'll keep my fingers crossed that this sun burns a lot of this fog off. It's not looking too great over where I'm going, even quite dark, so yeah, I'll just keep my fingers crossed and see what happens. There's a fairly strong stream that you've got to ford that feeds into the river running down the Glen, and it wasn't too bad. I don't think it was in like full spate. It was in a little bit, but if you go further up, there's some places that you can cross, or you can just cross where the Land Rover track goes over. But it's yeah, gators would probably be a good idea if there's been a lot of water. And then there's a fairly indistinct path that goes up, which ends up turning into this. As you can see, beautiful weather here. Yeah, it continues up this path, so I imagine you just follow that and head up there. That's the destination for today. There's a couple of folk behind us. I saw them umming and ahhing about where they should go, where they should cross, and they were there for about 5-10 minutes. So hopefully they find somewhere safe enough. I found it fairly easy to cross. It's a good thing having the poles because you can steady yourself as you go across and then get my feet wet. So I'll check in with you in a bit. Further up the trail it gets very boggy. It is, you can see the faint outline of the trail, and then you're skirting around big boggy sections like this. You have to kind of just keep your eye on where I think the trail is. So yeah, it's been like this for the last sort of 20 minutes, just skirting bits and then trying to get back to the trail and try not to get knee deep in bog water and mud. There you go, I think the trail's there. Yeah, it's definitely a wet one. I don't know if it would completely dry out in summer, but maybe it would, or maybe it's better when it's middle of winter and there's a big dump of snow, and then you can just walk on top of the snow instead of the bog. There we go. Looks like the path dries out a bit now, so hopefully it stays like this. I am holding my breath because it's done this before and then turned to quagmire again, so I'll keep plodding on and I'll bring you back in a bit when I get further along the trail. That's me up on top of the plateau now, and as you can see, not many views, stuck in the clag, but it's been a nice enough walk. The path was alright after the last time I spoke to you for a bit, and then it rose quite sharply to get up here, but yeah, it's a pleasant enough walk. Just a shame about the weather. I'll check back in when I'm closer to the top. There's a bit of what it's like walking up here in the plateau over to An Socach. A bit featureless, rocky, bouldery, little patches of snow, but nothing like the fun of yesterday in Stubinian and Benmore, where there was nice consolidated snow that you could get your crampons out and use. This is just soft slushy stuff, but not too far now, and it'll be nice to reach the top, bag it and then come down. I was going to go up and back the same way, but looking at the map, and I downloaded a couple of maps on the OS app, which is what I use when I'm hiking, and there seems to be a route back down to the Glen a bit sooner, and it just means walking along the Land Rover track, but I think if it means getting out of the clag, I'd rather do that than spend probably an hour or two more in the clag. So I think I'll drop off. It won't be too far away from where I am now. Drop off the side and pick my way down back towards that 4x4 track and stop for about a bite of lunch, I reckon, down there where there's at least some visibility and less wet clag. Still cracking on and enjoying it, but a bit less so because of the clag. So that's me finally on the summit, coming up to the summit of An Socach. A bit deceiving. It looked fairly flat. I mean, it is fairly flat, but it undulates up and down and up and down. Kept thinking I was nearly there and then I wasn't. But I'm gonna get to the summit, take the obligatory summit selfies, change a layer, and then just head down. There's not much point hanging around. You can see I'm a bit damp and wet, so I'll change out of this jacket into another one I've got in my jacket in my bag, and it's going to waterproof later on, I think. But I might get a bit of shelter here for a bit out of the wind. It seems to be 2 cairns, but this is definitely the highest of the two. But I'll go and tap them both anyway. Not shelter than that, and a bit of snow in it. So I'll head off to that cairn over there as well, and I'll tap them both. I've headed off the summit and I took a different route down than the route I went up. So when you come off the summit, you can hang a right, and there's actually a path. I thought it was going to be pathless, but there is a faint path. It started off like a bit of a stalker's track path, and but it's widened up a bit and been good in places and bad in places. Unlike the rest of this, it's fairly wet and boggy, but I don't really mind. At least there's a way off and back down to the 4x4 track. So it's not been the experience I hoped it would be, but it's been a good one. I met a couple up on the summit who summited maybe about 10-15 minutes after I did. I was changing my layers and I had a chat with them, and they said yesterday they'd had a great day in the Cairngorms, but today it was, yeah, not as forecast, so I wasn't the only one that the forecast lied to. So I'm just going to head down, get back to the 4x4 track. I'll maybe catch up with you then, and give a review of it, of the mountain, of the Munro, An Socach, and yeah, probably end it there. But it's not been the stunning views with the chance to have nice drone footage or anything. It's just been one of those typical Scottish days where you just got to trudge on, bag it and get off. Sometimes you get the views, sometimes you get the nice days, but if you only hiked and it was nice in Scotland, you wouldn't hike very much. So I remember hearing that and thinking, oh, that can't be true, but it's certainly my experience. Anyway, I'll stop waffling and catch up with you in a bit. I'm on the 4x4 track now, and the nicer weather that was down here before has disappeared, standard, and so just trudging along, eating fruit pastels, and just hoping that the miles slowly disappear. Keep my fingers crossed. I think there's one ford that I'll have to do, which I might get feet wet a little bit, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm talking about the fords, there's one here. Good way to clean the boots. Anyway, the coming down off An Socach was quite easy actually. In fact, if you wanted to, I reckon you could cycle all the way into where I came down and nip up An Socach and nip down again and get back on your bike and get out of here. You do this Munro very quickly, I think. But anyway, it's been a nice hike. I'd say for a rating, it's not the most exciting hike. There's nothing technical about it. It's fairly straightforward as well. Sorry. Probably give it 5 out of 10. I think it might have been nicer if the weather was, been higher if the weather was nicer. It's a bit. I always find that when you're hiking, you can be in a stunning mountain, but it just saps your enjoyment when the weather isn't good. Anyway, I'll show you a bit of the trail when I get around this corner, and again, it's just a long Land Rover track out back to the car. Not far from Bramar, and there's a good spot to get some lunch, so I might hold off eating sausage rolls I've got in my bag, and go get a sausage and egg butty or something like that and treat myself, and then head home. The long 5-odd hour drive home. Anyway, I'll spin you around and let you have a look at what I'm looking at. And there's still a little bit of snow, but like I said when I was up top, it's all soft, slushy stuff. It's a lot warmer than it was a few weeks ago. And this is the way out. You can see the Land Rover track just over there, going up and down and over the hills. Eventually it leads out, just following this river. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Sign off I think and just trudge my way back to the car. But if you've watched, enjoyed it or anything, just let us know. Yeah, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Something About Danny if you want, and leave any tips or ideas of things you'd like to see when I go hiking. I don't want to make it like the YouTube like a big deal, but I don't mind filming content when I'm out hiking, because I'm out here anyway and it's nice to save the memories. So let us know. See you later.